Good morning. And welcome to General Dynamics NASSCO in San Diego and the christening ceremony for the Bay State. We're pleased that you've joined us on this very special occasion. So my name is Dennis Dubard and I'm your Master of Ceremonies. And I'd also like to pay a special thanks for those who in the local community that came out to see this event. I'd also like to pay a very special hello to Cheryl Carr. Cheryl, it's great to see you again. And I'd also like to pay a very special welcome to those who are watching us on NASSCO.com and Facebook Live. And a special shout out to Rylan, Avery, and Ashlyn from Seattle. So no doubt it's another spectacular day here in America's finest city, and I can't think of a better occasion than the christening of the Bay State. So let's get started. Will everyone please rise for the presentation of colors, the singing of our national anthem, and the invocation. Parade the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Retire the colors. Captain Tim Eichler, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy, will now deliver the invocation. Chaplain.
Please join with me in a word of prayer. Let us pray. Eternal Father, strong to save, whose arm hath bound the restless wave, who bids the mighty ocean deep its own appointed limits keep. Lord, I am reminded this morning of the words of the psalmist who in Psalm 107 speaks to us of your mighty works, the creation you have made, especially for those who go down to the sea in ships, who do business on the mighty waters, that they see the works of the Lord and his wonders in the deep. Lord, for those who sail upon your mighty creation, they know your power and your mystery in the sea. Bless all who sail in the Bay State, that her crew and her cargo are safe in your hands. May she conduct her commerce in the tradition of the Bay State, the history and the tradition of the great state of Massachusetts. As she sails on the mighty waters, help her through her passages, and allow her to return with her crew safely and her cargo delivered. Lord, as we christen and name this newest tanker, Bay State, may she sail with her cargo and crew with fair winds and following seas wherever she may go. Lord, always be with them and bless them. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. So I want to say a very special thanks to Chantel Crite and Kiki White for singing our national anthem. Round of applause, please. And also a special thanks to our color guard from the San Diego State Aztec ROTC color guard. Thank you very much for being with us. We really appreciate it. As I think they say in the Army, hua. There you go. And also I'd like to say a special thanks for the Grand Pacific Band. They're definitely a fixture here at NASSCO. Pat and the band, thanks a lot. You guys are awesome. Also another fixture at these ceremonies is our chaplain. Chaplain, thank you for being here as well. So before we started this morning's ceremony, our ship sponsor was presented with a bouquet of flowers by our flower girl, Ms. Natalia Hodge. She is the daughter of Bill Hodge, who's the supervisor in production machinery. Natalia, would you please stand? There she is. So now I'd like to introduce our distinguished panel up here on the platform. To my left is our Vice President and General Manager, Mr. Kevin Graney. Next is our ship sponsor, Ms. Melissa DeVoe. She is the wife of David DeVoe, Vice President and General Counsel of Kinder Morgan. Next, representing the ship's crew is Captain Bob Cates. On my right, proudly representing the 51st Congressional District, the Honorable Juan Vargas. Very own, our famous, from American Petroleum Tankers, and certainly no stranger to NASSCO, Mr. Rob Kurz. Next is Mr. Parker Larson, is our Director of Commercial Programs here at NASSCO. And again, our chaplain from Navy Region Southwest, Captain Tim Eipler. I do want to recognize a few folks that are in the audience that came today and part of this ceremony. First, from the County of San Diego, Treasurer and Tax Collector, the Honorable Dan McAllister. Dan, it's great to see you again. From the Port of San Diego and the Board of Port Commissioners, the Honorable Dookie Valderrama. Dookie, great to see you. The President of Jet Aviation, Mr. Rob Smith. And our longtime partner and friend from DSEC, Mr. Mansoo Kim. And I know we had at one point Captain Joe Bazzelli from the Coast Guard, port captain, but he got called away on a different matter. But if he was here, we would have welcomed Captain Joe Bazzelli from the port. From the office of Representative Juan Vargas, who's Jen Maldonado. Jen, good to see you. So now it's my honor to introduce our first guest speaker this morning. Please welcome Mr. Kevin Graney, General Manager and Vice President, General Dynamics NASSCO.
Thank you, Dennis, and good morning. I'll begin by welcoming our sponsor, Mrs. Melissa DeVoe. We're very pleased to have you here with us this morning. I'm also pleased to welcome back Mr. Rob Kurz, President of APT and our shipbuilding partner. I'm honored to welcome Congressman Juan Vargas, the U.S. Representative for California's 51st District. And on behalf of Fred Harris and the General Dynamics NASSCO team, I am pleased to welcome all of you to witness the christening of Hull 555, the Triple Nickel, APT's Bay State, the fifth ship of the Eco class. When we deliver this ship in about 2 weeks, She will be our 7th ship delivered in less than 12 months. This includes 5 eco-class ships and the world's first 2 LNG-powered container ships for Tote Maritime. Now, the delivery of 7 ships in under a year is the highest production rate in NASSCO's history. Last year alone, we processed more than 60,000 tons of steel, the most steel to be processed in our shipyard ever. We have upped our game to accomplish this, and each one of us who wears a NASSCO badge has a lot to be proud of. I want to extend my personal thanks to our shipbuilding family for your hard work and dedication, and would you please join me in giving my NASSCO team a round of applause. While this team makes shipbuilding look easy, we all know it takes hard work and tremendous amounts of determination to reach a milestone such as a christening or a delivery. In addition, we know that we must continuously seek improvements and change the way we operate if we're going to evolve as a team. And in the past year, we have fundamentally changed the way we work. We have overhauled major processes, most notably in steel. We developed new planning and process tracking tools that made all of us perform better. We also improved the way we communicate throughout the yard to make sure we are aligned to a common purpose. The hard work is paying off. We transformed our understanding of our business, and I'd like to share with you one example. More than a year ago, we recognized we could make significant improvements to better facilitate our production flow. For NASSCO to flow efficiently, the rate steel blocks pass from stage to stage must be consistent. If it's not, we run the risk of either starving or overwhelming the next step in the process. We recognize challenges in our steel assembly area. Stage of construction 3, or as we call it in the yard, SOC 3. Blocks were taking longer than expected, and we were not achieving first-time quality. We were starving the outfit stages of construction, and we had to conduct rework to ensure the final product met our strict quality standards. We focused our attention on SOC 3 by overhauling our work plans, improving how we communicated with our production supervisors, and demanding more from our welders and fitters by establishing daily expectations. The SOC 3 team also met with me every Friday to review performance, and we talked about safety, quality, schedule, and cost. These were tough meetings, but we were determined to get to the bottom of our problem areas and improve. Before long, block by block, we began to see steady improvement, and I personally witnessed SOC 3 transition from a group of individuals into a team that worked together toward a common purpose. Each block was better than the one before. Schedules improved from being 3 or 4 weeks behind to being on schedule, and quality improved dramatically. That improved performance has in turn transformed the shipyard. Because SOC 3 is much improved, we are more in balance and performing with a flow that is efficient and cost effective. This ship, the Bay State, the 5th of this class, was built using 20% fewer man hours than the Lone Star State delivered just 9 months ago. The yard's improved performance has allowed us to complete this ship 2 weeks ahead of our plan. The remainder of this class of ships will also deliver 2 weeks early. I tell you that story to make you aware of the extraordinary effort that is given each day here at NASSCO. And our SOC 3 team is here with us today, led by Eric Icky. Eric, would you and your team please stand and be recognized? Eric, I'm so proud of you and your team and what you guys have accomplished, and I really appreciate the effort. Ultimately, our drive to innovate and improve is a testimony to NASSCO's people. We continually look for ways to improve cost, schedule, and performance throughout the shipyard. Just as the entire SOC 3 team has worked so hard to improve, we have many individuals who have gone above and beyond and made an impact on the construction of the Bay State. And at this time, I'll take a few minutes to recognize 4 members of the NASSCO team who have made a big impact on this ship. They are Gerardo Rodriguez, Arturo Villegas, Ismael Solano, and Kerry Golding. Gerardo Rodriguez is a production supervisor for Stage of Construction 6. On the Bay State, Gerardo supervised the multi-tube team. And on a tanker like Bay State, multi-tube is a system of tubing that controls flow of cargo and ballast water throughout the ship. And there are more than 13,000 meters of multi-tube on the Bay State. Under his leadership, his team saw a 21% improvement in labor hours over Hull 554 and a 31% improvement over Hull 553. That's a reduction of more than 2,800 hours. Much of this improvement was due to Gerardo's planning and preparation work. Gerardo, would you please stand? Thank you for your leadership and your initiative. Next, Arturo Villegas is a working supervisor in the machine shop. When the ship's schedule was reduced by 2 weeks, Arturo and his team worked late hours and weekends to support the machinery team's needs. He was able to support production by providing less than a one-shift turnaround on all of the steel liners for critical path equipment following ship float-out. The machine shop consistently completed work with fewer man-hours than budgeted since the first eco ship, and Arturo is the biggest reason for this excellent performance. Arturo, would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you for your leadership and your hard work on the Bay State. Next, Ismael Solano. He's a supervisor in planning. Ismael was instrumental in supervising and developing the installation schedule and sequencing of approximately 4,700 pipes in stage of construction 6. His efforts contributed to a 35% improvement from the first eco ship. Ishmael also tracked pipe installation on a daily basis in support of critical areas and systems in the vessel engine room to ensure completion for sea trials. One critical system is the Framo piping, which contains hydraulic fluid to drive the Bay State's cargo pumps. Ishmael developed a tracking mechanism to guarantee a quality fit-up, weld-out, and final installation of that system, allowing pressure testing to begin shortly after launch. This ship, the Bay State, is the earliest this system has been ready for testing on any eco ship to date. Ishmael, would you please stand? There he is. Thank you for your hard work and leadership on the Bay State. Next, I would like to recognize the person responsible for the construction of the Bay State, Ship Manager Carrie Golding. This is Carrie's 6th assignment as a ship manager. Under Carrie's leadership, the Bay State's construction performance has been excellent. When the Bay State undocked 2 months ago, she was 91.7% complete. Today, she's 99% complete and an outstanding achievement. In fact, we set a record on this ship. We ended up going to sea on Monday, 10 o'clock, and we were back in the yard by about 8 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday, about 58 hours at sea. And what that signifies to a shipyard is that we got it right. The systems worked. They tested very, very, very well, and we were able to return quickly with a clean slate. So the ship is in great shape and ready to be delivered, and a lot of that is owed to Carrie and his team. So Carrie, congratulations to you and your team. Would you please stand and be recognized? In closing, and on behalf of the 4,500 hardworking employees and subcontractors at General Dynamics NASSCO, I am honored to present the Bay State for christening to our sponsor, Mrs. Melissa DeVoe, wife of David DeVoe, Vice President and General Counsel for Kinder Morgan. Thank you all.
Thanks, Kevin. So our next speaker is certainly no stranger to NASSCO. Please welcome Mr. Rob Kurz, President, American Petroleum Tankers.
Thank you, Dennis, and good morning, everyone. I'd like to first thank our sponsor, Melissa DeVoe and Congressman Vargas, for being with us today. As I look proudly at this beautiful tanker, the Bay State, I'm reminded of how shipbuilding is very much alive and well in the United States. That state-of-the-art vessels are being built right here in domestic shipyards and contributing significantly to our nation's economy. The Bay State is the 4th of 5 eco-class tankers that NASSCO is building for American Petroleum Tankers, the Marine Division of Kinder Morgan. Along with their 3 sister vessels delivered over the past 8 months, the Lone Star State, Magnolia State, and Garden State, the Bay State is also chartered to Shell and will commence trading in U.S. Gulf service next month. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize and thank Shell for their tremendous support in being the catalyst of this 5-ship project. Needless to say, all of us at Kinder Morgan are deeply grateful for the opportunity that Shell has given us and the confidence that they have displayed in us. I'm also reminded of how this project came together back in February of 2013 with a call I made to my friend Matt Luxton of NASSCO. At that time, the shale oil revolution was kicking into high gear, and demand was growing for additional tonnage to support the growing domestic crude trade. NASSCO had already positioned the company well in a changing market by developing an MR tanker design with DSEC that was ideal for domestic trading. That enabled them to respond effectively and expeditiously to our initial inquiry, which ultimately led to the execution of a win-win shipbuilding contract only 3 months later. As I've shared with many of you in the past, collaboration works, and nowhere is this more evident than in how the APT and NASSCO teams have worked with one another over the past 3 years, 3+ years. Partnership is an overused term today, but I really can't think of a better one that describes our relationship with NASSCO. And finally, I'm reminded of how important the Jones Act is to our nation's defense capability and economic security. This critical law mandates that any vessel transporting goods or passengers between 2 points in the United States or is engaged in certain activities in U.S. waters must be U.S. owned, U.S. built, and U.S. crewed. It is a vital component of our country's military strategy, one that relies on U.S. flagged vessels and crews and a vibrant shipbuilding base to support our national defense requirements. From a national security standpoint, a quote from a 2011 report by the Lexington Institute probably sums it up best. Were the Jones Act not in existence, the Department of Homeland Security would be confronted by the difficult and very costly task of monitoring, regulating, and overseeing all foreign-controlled, foreign-crewed vessels in internal U.S. waters. With respect to the magnitude of its impact on the U.S. economy, about 40,000 Jones Act vessels operating in the Jones Act trades support nearly 500,000 American jobs and close to $100 billion in overall annual economic activity. Clearly, this essential law helps make our country stronger and safer, and we certainly would not be here today celebrating the christening of the Bay State if there was no Jones Act. Thank you all again very much.
Thanks, Rob. We truly have a great relationship with APT, and it really starts at the top. Rob, you're a great friend, and it's great to see you here, and always great to see you. Thanks. So our principal speaker this morning is certainly no stranger to San Diego and to this shipyard. He represents the 51st Congressional District, which includes San Diego County, all of Imperial County, all the way down to the Mexico border. He was first elected to Congress in 2012, and he serves on the Committee on Financial Services, including the Subcommittee on Financial Institutions and Consumer Credit, and the Committee on House Administration. Please welcome the Honorable Juan Vargas.
Thank you very much, Dennis, for that introduction, and thank you, General Dynamics NASSCO, for the invitation to speak today. It's a real honor. I'm pleased to be here to witness the christening and the launch of the Bay State. To all NASSCO employees who made today's christening ceremony possible, I'd like to thank you for your very hard work. Now, let's give them a round of applause. Now, Dennis, I was listening very carefully at all the hard work that your employees have done here. Saktri, Carrie, Geraldo, Arturo, Ismael. So we're going to have to take them to Washington so they can get something done there. Because we certainly can't. We need them. And I'm sure Fred Harris would loan them to us for a little while. They've done such a good job here. And as Dennis told you, I am the representative from the 51st Congressional District, the district here that NASSCO is in, and I know the important role that NASSCO plays in the San Diego economy, also the national economy, and frankly, the world economy. And I was so happy to hear the words that we heard about the Jones Act, because also it is so vital for our national defense, for our military strategy. We never want to be caught with the inability to build ships and defend ourselves from threats from abroad. So again, I'm very happy you mentioned that. The Jones Act is so important, and NASSCO is so essential to the Jones Act. So thank you. From the welders, the fitters, the machinists, to the designers, engineers, and management, you are NASSCO. NASSCO is the only full-service shipyard on the West Coast. Its contractors, employees are a critical component of the region. Between the Jones Act, which I just mentioned, which mandates that vessels be built in the U.S. when moving cargo between U.S. ports, to the Department of Defense moving more of its forces and surface fleet to the Pacific, and the Navy's demand for new ships, modernization, and repair, NASSCO will continue to play a substantial role in the industry's future. That is a remarkable responsibility, and one that I know that NASSCO takes very seriously. With over 17,000 direct and indirect jobs, 14,000 of which are in shipbuilding and repair industry alone, NASSCO is one of San Diego's most important and impactful industries. With the production of 4 eco-class tankers, the Bay State, NASSCO is quickly becoming a transformative industry. As NASSCO continues to design and build ships with an eco-friendly concept, the Bay State, along with eco-tankers that come along before it, represents the future of the shipping industry. This is evidence of NASSCO's participation in practicing good environmental stewardship. NASSCO was recently awarded a contract to build the next generation of fleet oilers for the Navy, and I look forward to what they have in store. In the meantime, I'm honored to be here today to celebrate the christening of the Bay State. This signals the approaching completion of the state-class vessel and NASSCO's ongoing commitment to excellence. On Thursday night, I had the honor of escorting the President of the United States at the Hispanic Congressional Congress's gala. It's the last time that the President is going to speak to us, and the President and I have been friends for a long time. We actually went to law school together, so we've been friends for a very long time. And I told him that I was going to be here, and he asked me to congratulate all of you at NASSCO, and he also knows how important the work that you do is, not only, again, to San Diego, but to the entire nation, and really, frankly, to the security of the world. So again, I congratulate all of you who'd made today's christening possible, and I thank you for inviting me. It's a real honor. Now, I know that it's not like before. Before, when I was here, you literally had to finish on time, because if you didn't, the ship would sail away as you broke the bottle. Now, since that's not the case here, I see it's already in the water, I'm going to speak for another 20 minutes. I am not. I am going to say again, thank you very much. And to all those hard workers at NASSCO, I'm glad you were recognized. You deserve it. And for all of you who really have toiled, not only to make this a magnificent ship, but to make sure that we're on the cutting edge of shipbuilding here in San Diego and the United States. God bless you for your work. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Vargas, for your very kind words, and certainly appreciate your support. He's been a great supporter here at NASSCO, and again, thank you very much. So now it's time for what we've come to do today, and that's to christen the ship. So Kevin, would you please escort our sponsor over to the sponsors platform? And while they make their way, let's hear from the Grand Pacific Band. Rob, do you want to? You want to go up one? Sure. Yeah, go ahead. You just use that. Thanks, Grand Pacific Band. Now it's over to the christening platform. Mrs. DeVoe, would you please christen the ship?
For American Petroleum Tankers, I christen thee Bay State. May God bless this ship and all who sail on her.
I would say we christened the ship. So I would think for the first time in a long time, we usually tell the sponsor the goal is to get our president, in this case, our vice president, as wet as they can. I think this is the first time that our sponsor got soaked. Thank you very much. So on behalf of the men and women of General Dynamics NASSCO, thank you for coming this morning, and a special thanks to our NASSCO team who put this ceremony together. So this concludes our program. Thank you all for coming. We wish you fair winds and following seas. Thanks again.